चढ़दीकला टाइम टीवी नॉर्थ अमेरिका देख रहे सारे दर्शकों का वर्ल्ड पंजाबी न्यूज़ ਦੇ स्वागत है। खबरों की शुरुआत करने तो पहले एक नज़र मारते हैं कुछ खास हेडलाइंस से। फोर्ड सरकार वालों किया गया स्कूल खोलने का फैसला, एनडीपी पार्टी के एमपीज़ वालों दी गई प्रतिक्रिया। नॉर्थ वैस्ट ओंटारियो में जंगलों में लगी खतरनाक अग, प्रीमियर डग फोर्ड वालों अग नाल प्रभावित लोगों नाल की गई मुलाकात। फील्ड रीजन में बहुत तेजी नाल हुई वैक्सीनेशन, तीजे पड़ाव तहत पाबंदियां हटाई जाने की जा रही है मेयर पैट्रिक ब्राउन वालों मंग। ते हुण खबरां विस्तार नाल। फोर्ड सरकार वालों कोविड-19 का प्रभाव घटन तो बाद दोबारा स्कूल खोलने का फैसला किया गया है। इस संबंधी एनडीपी पार्टी के एमपीज़ वालों वर्चुअली प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस की गई, जिन्हें अपने शंके जाहिर करदे कहा कि फोर्ड सरकार वालों एजुकेशन खेतर में कट लगाए जा रहे हैं ते सेफ्टी लिए कॉलेज साइज छोटे करने का भी कोई प्लान नहीं है, जिस कारण मापे भी चिंतित ने ते स्कूलों में महामारी फैलन का खतरा बनया होया है।
Sad to hear how much students are struggling right now because of the lack of supports in schools. And what we're actually seeing, though, despite the fact we know that students are struggling, is that the Conservative government, Doug Ford, they're actually refusing to make the investments or even demonstrate a plan for the upcoming school year that they're going to make our schools safe. They have not made any commitment to invest in hiring more adults or caring education workers in our schools, making our school sizes smaller. They've made no commitment to investing in ventilation systems to make our schools safer. And also no commitment to invest in mental health support that you really articulate in a fantastic way about how it's been such a struggle for students. So the Ford Conservative government is not making the right investments, they're not showing a plan. And beyond anything, in this last budget, in this year, 2021, they actually put forward an $800 million cut to schools. This is not the investment, this is not the direction, this is not what our schools and teachers and students deserve. They deserve better, and the NDP is going to continue fighting for that.
Thank you so much, Greta. And I think we all agree that our students and our educators deserve investments in our classrooms, not cuts as we head back into September. With that, I'd like to pass it over to our colleague, Kevin Yard, to share a few words as well.
Thank you, Sarah. And I also want to thank Erica for her comments. It is depressing to hear what the state of the students is right now in Ontario. And it just seems to be getting worse because we really don't have a plan by this government. And we've been seeing a lot of parents and school-age kids. They're frustrated because this government has provided no certainty as to what's going to happen in the fall. And we're going down the same path we did last year with upheaval with parents. And unfortunately, the Ford government, they're refusing to provide families with a clear and timely plan about what's going to happen in terms of going back to school and what back to school is going to be like. So we can't go back to what we did back in September because it was upheaval, basically what it was. Moms are right now, they're worried about having their kids go back to school. Is it going to be more than 15 students in a classroom? Are they going to come back home with COVID? What's going to happen? And in terms of getting vaccinated as well.
नॉर्थ वैस्ट ओंटारियो में जंगलों में लगी अग खतरनाक रूप धार रही है। प्रीमियर डग फोर्ड वालों अग नाल प्रभावित हुए लोगों नाल मुलाकात की गई, जिन्हां सहयोगियों का धन्यवाद किया ते दस्सिया कि पूरा अमला लोगों को बचाउण ते अग बुझाउण ते लग्या होया है ते हुण तक मूल निवासी भाईचारे के 3000 तो ज्यादा लोगों को सुरक्षित थावां ते पहुंचाया जा चुका है।
As you can see, we have one of the water bombers right over there from our friends from Quebec, but every single province is pitching in, and understand Wisconsin's helping out as well, and a great team from Mexico, the firefighters. I'm come up here to talk to the chiefs and talk to the ministry and find out if there's anything they need. By all means, they can reach out to us. I gave my personal cell number. We're being briefed a couple times a day to make sure that we evacuate anyone that needs to. We've evacuated over 3,000 people so far, and anyone that needs to be evacuated, will be there to support them. So again, I want to be boots on the ground here and look at the command center. They have it well organized, and I'm very, very grateful for all the work, and not only with the ministry, but the Ontario management. I'm sorry, Emergency Management of Ontario, to the EMO. They're doing an incredible job, so it's a coordinated effort right now. So I think there's a little confusion what a state of emergency is. It's not going to add any more resources. It's basically the province coming in, taking over everything. We believe in working in collaboration, cooperation with First Nations, with municipalities. That's the only difference. Is the province will come in and say you can't go down this road. There's already emergency orders put in place, so it's not holding back any resources. We will put all the resources we have. I won't spare a penny. We'll make sure we're there to support the people of Northwestern Ontario.
ਬਰੈਂਪਟਨ ਦੇ ਮੇਅਰ ਪੈਟ੍ਰਿਕ ਬਰਾਊਨ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰ ਮੁੜ ਮੰਗ ਕੀਤੀ ਗਈ ਕਿ ਤੀਜੇ ਪੜਾਅ ਤਹਿਤ ਪੀਲ ਰੀਜਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਾਬੰਦੀਆਂ ਹਟਾਈਆਂ ਜਾਣ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਪੀਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੈਕਸੀਨੇਸ਼ਨ ਬਹੁਤ ਤੇਜ਼ੀ ਨਾਲ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ ਜੋ ਕਿ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਿੰਸ ਦੇ ਟਾਰਗੇਟ ਨੂੰ ਪੂਰਾ ਕਰਦੀ ਹੈ। ਮੇਅਰ ਮੁਤਾਬਿਕ ਇੰਡੋਰ ਮਾਸਕ ਨੂੰ ਲਾਜ਼ਮੀ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਵੇਗਾ ਤੇ ਆਊਟਡੋਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੀ ਚੁਆਇਸ ਹੋਵੇਗੀ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਮਾਸਕ ਪਹਿਨਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਜਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ।
So first of all, we're in stage 3, and I believe that's appropriate. I was pushing for the earlier entry into stage 3 because we smashed the vaccination targets the province had to get into stage 3, well in excess of what the goal was that was set for us as a province. Our hospitalization is incredible. At one point, we were shipping 100 patients out by air ambulance a week to other hospitals. And now we have one individual in ICU. Our positivity rate was as high as 22% in Peel region only a few months ago, and now it's 1%. So remarkable progress, and that's because of the huge push to get vaccinated and people respecting the public health protocols. And so I'm glad that things are getting back to normal. Long overdue. It's been a tough year and a half. And I think one of the next conversations we're going to have is around the mask protocol. I understand that the medical advice is that the indoor mask mandate should stay for a little bit longer, given the concerns around the transmissibility of some of the variants. But every medical expert I spoke to have said that we can drop it outdoors. On masks, the medical advice I've had from even Dr. Lawrence Lowe, Naveed Mohammed, is that the outdoors should be by choice and indoors needs to be compulsory for some time to come. But right now, farmers market, flag raisings, if you want to have outdoor movie viewing, parents watching their kids on a sports field, they're still required to wear masks. And so I wrote a letter last week to the province asking them to remove that aspect of the masking bylaw of the Provincial Ontario Reopening Act, because I think people have sacrificed enough now, and if it's not warranted, then get rid of it.
ਐਨਡੀਪੀ ਆਗੂ ਜਗਮੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਨੇ ਬ੍ਰਿਟਿਸ਼ ਕੋਲੰਬੀਆ ਦੇ ਕੈਂਪਲੂਪਸ ਅੰਦਰ ਰੈਜ਼ੀਡੈਂਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਸਕੂਲ ਦੀ ਸਾਈਟ ਦਾ ਦੌਰਾ ਕੀਤਾ। ਇਸ ਸਕੂਲ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਮਈ ਮਹੀਨੇ ਦੌਰਾਨ 200 ਮੂਲ ਨਿਵਾਸੀ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਕਬਰਾਂ ਮਿਲੀਆਂ ਸਨ।
Standing in front of the residential school, I'm struck by how hard it is to be here. A lot harder than I thought it would be. This is where it happened. I spoke with Viola, who's a survivor, and I just wanted to get another sense of what it was like. And we all knew about residential institutions as Canadians. This is something that we've heard about. It hit us differently as a country, I think, when we first found the 215 kids. There was shock. People were reeling. There was horror. This is where it happened, at this place. 215 little kids were killed. 215 little kids. As a country, this is our country's responsibility. And it's our responsibility to make it right. And what I've been so touched by across Canada, the memorials have shown that people care and people are demanding action. People have said it's not good enough for us to mourn. We have to mourn and we need to mourn, but it is not good enough to just show symbolically that we care. We have to do something to make this right. And a big part of this tour is to make that commitment. We have to get this right. And that means stopping the legal battles against kids right now. Indigenous kids right now are being fought in court by this government, by Justin Trudeau. Kids who have been found to be willfully and recklessly discriminated. This finding was made by the Canadian Human Rights Tribunal. The fact that despite this finding, Justin Trudeau is fighting these kids in court is continuing the same legacy of discrimination that happened in this very school and schools like this. So our commitment is we need to implement all the Truth and Reconciliation calls to action. They're calls to action. They weren't recommendations. They were calls to action. That's how we walk the path of reconciliation. We make sure that every single kid is brought home.
ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਅੰਦਰ ਰੈਜ਼ੀਡੈਂਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਸਕੂਲਾਂ ਅੰਦਰ ਮੂਲ ਨਿਵਾਸੀ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਕਬਰਾਂ ਮਿਲਣ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਹਰ ਰੋਜ਼ ਕੋਈ ਨਾ ਕੋਈ ਨਵਾਂ ਖੁਲਾਸਾ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਆ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ, ਜਿਸ ਨਾਲ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਘਟਨਾਵਾਂ ਪ੍ਰਤੀ ਰੋਸ ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਵੱਧ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ। ਇਸ ਦੌਰਾਨ ਇੱਕ ਪਾਦਰੀ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਮਾਮਲਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਝੂਠਾ ਪੇਸ਼ ਕੀਤਾ ਗਿਆ ਅਤੇ ਉਸ ਪਾਦਰੀ ਨੂੰ ਅਦਾਲਤ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਬੈਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਗਿਆ ਹੈ।
His words have deeply, deeply hurt people.
This is typical residential school denialism. If you want to hear the truth of what happened in residential schools, talk to Indigenous peoples. We are the ones who know. We are the ones who had family members attend. And in some cases, if you're lucky enough to have a person who physically attended the schools, listen to what that person had to say, because you'll learn a lot. You'll learn about what this country did to its most vulnerable.
I'm not just sorry or regret or wish he hadn't used those words. I wish to say very, very clearly, and I hope more and more people will come to that place of completely disavowing that kind of thinking.
ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦੇ ਸਮਾਜਿਕ ਵਿਕਾਸ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਅਹਿਮਦ ਹੁਸੈਨ ਨੇ ਟੋਰਾਂਟੋ ਵਿੱਚ ਰੈਪਿਡ ਹਾਊਸਿੰਗ ਪਲਾਨ ਲਈ ਫੈਡਰਲ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਵੱਲੋਂ $132.3 ਮਿਲੀਅਨ ਦਾ ਐਲਾਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ। ਇਸ ਫੰਡ ਰਾਹੀਂ ਸਾਲ ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ 233 ਹਾਊਸਿੰਗ ਯੂਨਿਟਸ ਬਣਾਏ ਜਾਣਗੇ। ਇਸ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਦਾ ਮਕਸਦ ਬੇਘਰੇ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਘਰ ਮੁਹੱਈਆ ਕਰਵਾਉਣਾ ਹੈ।
And now, through the second round of the Rapid Housing Initiative, we're taking those success stories and investing an additional $1.5 billion. And Toronto is part of the communities that will receive this money. So I have the pleasure today to announce an additional $132.2 million to go to the City of Toronto through the Rapid Housing Initiative Major Cities Stream to build more affordable permanent housing units for the City of Toronto and its most vulnerable residents. This funding will support the rapid creation of an additional 233 new permanent affordable housing units in the City of Toronto for the most vulnerable individuals, those who are experiencing precarious housing situations, those who are experiencing homelessness, and those who are at risk of experiencing homelessness. That is over 750 units of permanent affordable housing units delivered through the Rapid Housing Initiative to the City of Toronto through the first round and the second round of our program. And just like in the first round of the Rapid Housing Initiative, this new funding and these new units have to be delivered within 12 months. These targeted investments are not only important for the individuals who call these places home, they also stimulate the local economy and create good middle-class, well-paying jobs when they're needed the most. Simply put, this is great news for everyone. Simplement dit, c'est une excellente nouvelle pour tout le monde. It is great news for the workers, it is great news for the families and individuals who will soon call these units home, and it is great news for our local Toronto economy.
ਬ੍ਰਿਟਿਸ਼ ਕੋਲੰਬੀਆ ਦੇ ਜੰਗਲਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਲੱਗੀ ਅੱਗ ਰੁਕਣ ਦਾ ਨਾਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੈ ਰਹੀ। ਅੱਗ ਲੱਗਣ ਦੀ ਸ਼ੁਰੂਆਤ ਲਿੰਟਨ ਕਸਬੇ ਦੇ ਪੱਛਮ ਤੋਂ 17 ਜੂਨ ਨੂੰ ਹੋਈ ਸੀ, ਜੋ ਹੁਣ ਤੱਕ 4000 ਵਰਗ ਕਿਲੋਮੀਟਰ ਤੱਕ ਵੱਧ ਖੇਤਰ ਨੂੰ ਪ੍ਰਭਾਵਿਤ ਕਰ ਚੁੱਕੀ ਹੈ। ਵਾਤਾਵਰਣ ਮਾਹਰਾਂ ਅਨੁਸਾਰ ਜੇਕਰ ਸਮਾਂ ਰਹਿੰਦਿਆਂ ਇਸ ਉੱਤੇ ਕਾਬੂ ਨਾ ਪਾਇਆ ਗਿਆ ਤਾਂ ਆਉਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਸਮੇਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਦੇ ਤਾਪਮਾਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਵਾਧਾ ਹੋਵੇਗਾ।
So the current situation in BC right now from the wildfires, we've seen about 1,250 wildfires since April 1st of this year. That's resulted in nearly 456,000 hectares area burned. The 10-year average this time is 658 fires and about 106,000 hectares burned. There are currently 245 active fires in BC, and 36 of those are what we consider wildfires of note. Of that 245, 181 of those are due to natural causes. 15 of them are considered to be human caused. This week, the number of daily ignitions have subsided, and the wildfires currently burning has also decreased. It has been a pleasure to welcome additional out-of-province resources over the past. Our partners from other provinces, Mexico, and the Canadian Armed Forces are all actively working on incidents. Our Australian partners are also being assigned, or in country and being assigned as we speak today. So today and tomorrow will be hot. Severe burning conditions will be seen in the south half of the province. And there'll be overnight burning on these incidents. Then come Saturday and Sunday, we anticipate a bit of shift in the weather. So while this has been a relatively stable week we see some instability in the forecast.
ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦੀ ਵਿੱਤ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਕ੍ਰਿਸਟੀਆ ਫਰੀਲੈਂਡ ਨੇ ਲੇਕ ਫੀਲਡ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਕੂਲ ਅਤੇ ਕਾਲਜ ਦੇ ਵਿਦਿਆਰਥੀਆਂ ਲਈ ਵੱਡਾ ਐਲਾਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ। ਖਾਸ ਤੌਰ ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਕਰੋਨਾ ਕਾਲ ਦੌਰਾਨ ਪੜ੍ਹਾਈ ਡਿਜੀਟਲ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਜਾ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ। ਸਮਾਲ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸ ਵੀ ਵਰਚੁਅਲ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਰਨ ਕੀਤੇ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ, ਜਿਸ ਨੂੰ ਵੇਖਦਿਆਂ ਫੈਡਰਲ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਅਤੇ ਓਨਟਾਰੀਓ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਹਾਈ ਸਪੀਡ ਇੰਟਰਨੈਟ ਸੇਵਾਵਾਂ ਪ੍ਰਦਾਨ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਜਾਣਗੀਆਂ।
Small businesses have needed it to take their businesses digital, selling their products in online stores or providing their services over the internet. Reliable high-speed internet is absolutely essential infrastructure for the 21st century. For rural and remote communities that don't have access to that, including communities here in Ontario, the pandemic has made life very, very difficult. And I know that you're worried about being left behind as the Canadian economy comes roaring back. I'm here today to assure you that our government will not let that happen. We have an economic recovery plan that is about creating jobs and growth in communities everywhere in Canada. All Canadians and all Canadian businesses, wherever they are in our amazing country, deserve high-quality, high-speed internet so they can fully participate in the economy, in the life of our country. Our government has a goal of ensuring that 98% of our country will have high-speed internet by 2026 and 100% by 2030. And today, we are making a big investment to accomplish precisely that. I am so delighted to announce that the governments of Canada and Ontario, in collaboration with the Canada Infrastructure Bank, have entered into a historic partnership that will bring high-speed internet to nearly 280,000 rural Ontario households in nearly 900 communities across the province by the end of 2025. This means that nearly half of all households without broadband.
ਸ਼ੇਰਬਰੁਕ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਇੱਕ ਵਿਲੱਖਣ ਘਟਨਾ ਦੀ ਜਾਂਚ ਕੀਤੀ ਜਾ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ, ਜਿਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਫਸਟ ਰਿਸਪੌਂਡਰਜ਼ ਨੇ ਇੱਕ ਮਹਿਲਾ ਦੀ ਸੜੀ ਹੋਈ ਲਾਸ਼ ਨੂੰ ਮੈਨੀਕੁਈਨ ਸਮਝ ਕੇ ਕੂੜੇਦਾਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੁੱਟ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਸੀ। ਸ਼ੇਰਬਰੁਕ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਚੀਫ ਡੈਨੀ ਮੈਕਕੋਲਨ ਅਨੁਸਾਰ 23 ਜੁਲਾਈ ਦੀ ਸਵੇਰ ਨੂੰ ਕਬਾਨਾ ਸਟਰੀਟ ਫੈਕਟਰੀ ਨੇੜੇ ਲੱਗੀ ਅੱਗ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਇੱਕ ਮਹਿਲਾ ਦੀ ਸੜੀ ਹੋਈ ਲਾਸ਼ ਨੂੰ ਸਿਲੀਕੋਨ ਡਮੀ ਸਮਝ ਲਿਆ ਗਿਆ। ਪੁਲਿਸ ਤੇ ਫਾਈਟਰਸ ਦਰਮਿਆਨ ਹੋਈ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਇਹ ਤੈਅ ਕੀਤਾ ਗਿਆ ਕਿ ਮੈਨੀਕੁਈਨ ਨੂੰ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਸਟੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਬਣੇ ਕੂੜਾਦਾਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੁੱਟ ਦੇਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੈ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉੱਥੇ ਆਮ ਜਨਤਾ ਦਾ ਆਉਣ ਜਾਣ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ। 4 ਘੰਟੇ ਬਾਅਦ ਇੱਕ ਵਿਅਕਤੀ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਪਾਰਟਨਰ ਦੇ ਲਾਪਤਾ ਹੋਣ ਦੀ ਰਿਪੋਰਟ ਲਿਖਵਾਈ। ਪੁਲਿਸ ਨੇ ਉਸ ਦਾ ਸੈੱਲ ਫੋਨ ਟਰੈਕ ਕੀਤਾ ਤੇ ਉਸ ਦੀ ਗੱਡੀ ਅੱਗ ਲੱਗਣ ਵਾਲੀ ਥਾਂ ਤੇ ਨੇੜੇ ਹੀ ਪਾਰਕ ਕੀਤੀ ਪਾਈ ਗਈ। 4 ਘੰਟੇ ਬਾਅਦ ਇੱਕ ਵਿਅਕਤੀ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਪਾਰਟਨਰ ਦੇ ਲਾਪਤਾ ਹੋਣ ਦੀ ਰਿਪੋਰਟ ਲਿਖਵਾਈ। ਪੁਲਿਸ ਨੇ ਉਸ ਦਾ ਸੈੱਲ ਫੋਨ ਟਰੈਕ ਕੀਤਾ ਤੇ ਉਸ ਦੀ ਗੱਡੀ ਅੱਗ ਲੱਗਣ ਵਾਲੀ ਥਾਂ ਦੇ ਨੇੜੇ ਹੀ ਪਾਰਕ ਕੀਤੀ ਪਾਈ ਗਈ। ਉਸ ਮਹਿਲਾ ਦਾ ਵੇਰਵਾ ਉਸ ਕਥਿਤ ਮੈਨੀਕੁਈਨ ਨਾਲ ਕਾਫੀ ਮੇਲ ਖਾਂਦਾ ਸੀ, ਜਿਸ ਨੂੰ ਕੂੜੇਦਾਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੁੱਟ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਗਿਆ ਸੀ। ਪੁਲਿਸ ਨੇ ਸ਼ਾਮੀ 6:30 ਵਜੇ ਕੂੜਾਦਾਨ ਨੂੰ ਚੈੱਕ ਕਰਨ ਦਾ ਫੈਸਲਾ ਕੀਤਾ ਤੇ ਪਾਇਆ ਕਿ ਮੈਨੀਕੁਈਨ ਅਸਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿਸੇ ਮਹਿਲਾ ਦੀ ਲਾਸ਼ ਹੈ। ਹੁਣ ਕਰੋਨਰ ਆਫਿਸ, ਕਰਾਊਨ ਤੇ ਇੰਡੀਪੈਂਡੈਂਟ ਬਿਊਰੋ ਆਫ ਇਨਵੈਸਟੀਗੇਸ਼ਨ ਸਾਰੇ ਇਸ ਮਾਮਲੇ ਦੀ ਜਾਂਚ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ। ਪੁਲਿਸ ਇਸ ਨੂੰ ਸ਼ੱਕੀ ਮੌਤ ਮੰਨ ਕੇ ਇਸ ਦੀ ਜਾਂਚ ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ। ਵੀਰਵਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਕੀਤੀ ਗਈ ਨਿਊਜ਼ ਕਾਨਫਰੰਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੈਕਕੋਨਲ ਨੇ ਮਹਿਲਾ ਦੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਲਈ ਦੁੱਖ ਪ੍ਰਗਟਾਇਆ ਹੈ। ਪੰਜਾਬ ਭਵਨ ਸਰੀ ਅਤੇ ਸਿਹਤ ਸਭਾ ਸਰੀ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਫੈਸਰ ਕੁਲਜੀਤ ਕੌਰ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਲਿਖੀ ਪੁਸਤਕ ਬੂੰਦਾ ਬਣਨ ਸਮੁੰਦਰ ਅਤੇ ਅਸ਼ੋਕ ਧਨੀ ਪਿੰਡਵੀ ਦੀ ਲਿਖੀ ਪੁਸਤਕ ਦੁਆਵਾਂ ਦਾ ਦਰਿਆ ਬਾਰੇ ਗੋਸ਼ਟੀ ਦੇ ਚਰਚਾ ਸਿਹਤ ਸਭਾ ਸਰੀ ਦੇ ਮਹੀਨਾਵਾਰ ਸਮਾਗਮ ਚ ਮਿਤੀ 1 ਅਗਸਤ ਨੂੰ ਦੁਪਹਿਰ 12:30 ਵਜੇ ਤੋਂ 3 ਵਜੇ ਤੱਕ ਕੀਤੀ ਜਾ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ, ਜਿਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਭਵਨ ਸਰੀ ਦੇ ਸੰਸਥਾਪਕ ਸੁਖੀ ਬਾਠ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਇਸ ਚਰਚਾ ਵਿੱਚ ਸ਼ਾਮਿਲ ਹੋਣ ਲਈ ਖੁੱਲ੍ਹਾ ਸੱਦਾ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਗਿਆ। ਫਿਲਹਾਲ ਵਰਲਡ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਨਿਊਜ਼ ਦੇ ਇਸ ਬੁਲੇਟਿਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੰਨਾ ਹੀ। ਹੋਰ ਤਾਜ਼ਾ ਖਬਰਾਂ ਲਈ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵੇਖਦੇ ਰਹੋ ਚੜ੍ਹਦੀ ਕਲਾ ਟਾਈਮ ਟੀਵੀ ਨਾਰਥ ਅਮਰੀਕਾ। ਮੈਨੂੰ ਰਿਦਮ ਨੂੰ ਦਿਓ ਆਗਿਆ। ਧੰਨਵਾਦ। you.